Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to commence with our state expedited accusation calendar. This is a calendar in which individuals were recently arrested on certain misdemeanor charges and booked at the Fulton County Jail. Upon being booked, the cases were soon thereafter formally accused by the prosecutor, which is the Fulton County Solicitor General's office. Upon the accusations, the cases are bound over to the state court. So this would be the defendant's initial appearance before a state judicial officer, at which time the defendant would be informed of the charge or charges brought against him or her, to appoint counsel, to also give you a new court date, and also address the issues of your bond. If you are a defendant, these are active criminal, this will be an active criminal case against you. Please remember your constitutional right to remain silent. Anything you say during the course of this virtual recorded proceeding, your statements can and will be used against you. So please remember your right to remain silent. The other one is the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one of our attorneys from the Public Defender's Office or the Conflict Defense Counsel may be appointed to represent you. Okay, Courtroom Two, the gentleman who looks very, very relaxed, could you please sit up and let's address him or her? I'm sure I can tell who it is. Who is it, please?
This is position 7,
All right.
Ms. Hammer.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Maureen McLeod is here for Ms. Hammer.
Good afternoon, Ms. McLeod. How am I McLeod or?
McLeod, like the clouds up in the sky. Yes.
Oh, the clouds in the sky, definitely. Okay.
How you doing, Judge? I'm Mr. Edie, and I've spoken to Ms. Hammer's mom, who retained me for bond purposes today. I know it was short of, time that it would have before Ms. McLeod spoken to her, but it was within like the last hour, 30 minutes before I was retained from her mom.
Do you need to speak to her? Do you need additional time to speak to her?
Actually, no, I was able to retrieve most of the information that I needed from her mom.
All right. Mr. Edie, have you been at one of these state expedited calendars before?
Yes, I have.
Okay, good. And so we have Kelsey Hamner, who is accused in case number 22 CR 0000186Y with simple battery domestic violence from January 12, 2022. Is cross-defendant position number 13 in the courtroom? Courtroom 2, is Mr. Robinson there?
I'm sorry about that, Judge. Yes, he is.
Excuse me. I would like to speak to my attorney. I haven't had a chance to speak to Mr. Edie, and I would like to.
All right, Mr. Edie, if you would like to call the jail, the number is 404-612-2392.
Let me get it one more time.
404-612-2392. You could have it over there.
All right, I appreciate it. I'll be calling and I'll sign back in.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll address Mr. Robinson if he's available.
Come on, Robinson.
Mr. Robinson's position 13, 22 CR 0000185Y. He is the cross-defendant to Ms. Hamner, charged with simple battery domestic violence, same date. Mr. Robinson, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. Do we have conflict counsel to represent it?
No, Your Honor, it's Miss Lake. We're representing him.
Well, isn't that a breath of fresh air? Miss Lake, welcome.
Nice to see you.
Again. Yes, even if it's virtual. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Mr. Robinson, we do not have an attorney presently available to represent you from the Public Defender's Office.
No, I'm here, Your Honor.
Oh, you're the
yes, I'm the public defender.
Okay, good. Okay, Miss Lisa Lake, excuse me, is going to be representing you. I thought you were going to announce that we don't have a conflict counsel.
No,
I got so excited about seeing you here. Thank you. All right. Mr. Robinson, your attorney is Miss Lake, and let's see, Mr. Tucson, any priors on Mr. Robinson?
20 total. Last arrest was June 2020, battery family violence in the cab. That's open. March 2020, aggravated assault, battery family violence in the cab. That's open. 2018 obstruction conviction. Got a probation violation 2014. Got a FTA for shoplifting that was dismissed from 2014.
All right. That's good. Thank you. Ms. Arnold, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
I'm equally excited to see you here as well.
I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I've read the warrants for both cases. And what is your recommendation for Mr. Robinson?
Yes, Your Honor. So the state is requesting a $5,000 surety bond. We're asking that he have no further contact with Kelsey Hamner, spelled K-E-L-S-E-Y, Hamner, H-A-M-N-E-R, and that there be a stay away from the 997 Moreland Drive Southeast. We're asking for 1 day anger awareness and that there be no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Your Honor, we are requesting this bond because we do think that the defendant will reoffend based on the fact that he did have a conviction from 2007 for a battery family violence and also for carrying a concealed weapon. And then he has several arrests for battery, Your Honor, from 2007, 2010, 2012. And then I did not see dispositions for the batteries in DeKalb, but he has one from March of 2020 for an aggravated assault and battery family violence, and then a June 2020 incident from DeKalb for a battery family violence as well. So for these reasons, Your Honor, we do believe he will reoffend, and we are asking for the bond be set at the $5,000 surety with the conditions as stated.
Thank you. Ms. Lake?
Your Honor, I would note that this is a dual arrest. My client has completed 2 years of college and works as a cook. He does have another place to go. We are asking for no further violent contact on his behalf and would ask that you speak to the cross defendant about how she feels about that. So we are asking for a signature bond or as low a bond as possible. He is a lifelong resident of the Atlanta area.
All right. The bond is set at $750. It's a surety bond. No further contact with Kelsey Hamner. After today, he has to stay 200 yards away from her. Do not communicate with her in any way, form, or manner. To stay away from 997 Moreland Drive in Atlanta, Georgia. If he has personal belongings there, he can return one time only with a police officer to retrieve his personal belongings. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
His next court date is going to be January 27, 2022 is going to be our SAP calendar at 9 a.m. If he is still at the Wright Street facility, we will address this case. Otherwise, he will get a new court date to appear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next case, Courtroom 2.
Position 7, Hammer.
Okay. Mr. Edie. I'm just waiting on counsel Khalil Edie to sign back in. Mr. Jordan or Ms. Lewis, whoever is hosting, is Mr. Edie in the waiting room?
I don't see him sitting in there, Judge. He hasn't signed back in yet.
All right. Deputy, let's put Ms. Hamner on hold on deck and we'll take the next case available until Mr. Edie signs back on. Thank you.
Position 11, London.
Thank you. Is everyone in courtroom 2 today?
Yes.
Okay. Shantaria London is position 11, case number 22 CR 000181J. accused of simple battery domestic violence on January 12th, 2022. And Ms. London, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Lisa Lake. All right. And let me see, Mr. Tucson, any priors?
The third arrest, 2018 shoplifting, dismissed after diversion.
All right.
And a 2018 battery dismissed.
All right, thank you. Ms. Goodry, I've read the warrant. Any objection to a signature bond for pretrial?
Yes, Your Honor, that's largely due to her battery that she had in 2018, where she, in that case, fought her aunt. Although it resulted in an arrest of both parties and a dismissal, we're concerned that she will commit an act of this magnitude again. And again, in this case, she grabbed the victim and punched her in the face. So we're concerned that she will do this again.
Okay. Is Ms. Brinson on the Zoom conference if she wants to put her 2 cents in? No? Okay. Bond is set at $2,500, is a signature bond through pretrial services. No further contact with Jamil Brinson, which means that you have to stay 200 yards away from her and not communicate with her in any way, form, or manner. If you both are significant partners living together, I'm not sure, I can't tell by the warrant, but you can't live together anymore. You can return to the residence one time only with a police officer to retrieve your personal belongings, but otherwise you have to live separately until further order of the court. Yes, Mr.
Your Honor, I was just going to explain that the apartment is in my client's name. Her 5-year-old child lives there with her, and to the best of her knowledge, Ms. Brinson has returned to her home in Florida.
All right, then let me amend that. She can return to her home with a police officer to verify that Ms. Brinson does not live there. If Ms. Brinson doesn't live there, then she can return to her home. But she's not to have any contact with Jamil Brinson. Simple as that. No illegal drugs, no weapons, and no firearms. When she reports to pretrial, she may be subject to random screens. She needs to complete a 1-day anger awareness program through pretrial and stay away from all Mata property if there is an active suspension against her.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. And her next court date will be issued by the division judge. So make sure that her mailing address is correct with us at all times. Ms. London, once you are released on bond, please go back to the public defender's office and reapply for their services to see if they can continue to represent you. Did you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. What public defender? Miss Lisa?
Yes, Ms. Lisa Lake is with the public defender's office. Currently, they're representing you because you are in jail. But once you are released on the signature bond, you need to be qualified to make sure that they can continue to represent you.
Okay, that's cool. You said something about my previous charge. I fought my aunt. We never
No,
fought.
and I didn't ask anything about your previous charge. You're released on a signature bond. If you get arrested again for anything else from this moment onwards, you'll be brought back to Fulton County Jail. Please remember to bring $2,500 with you. All right, thank you. Next case. Mr. Edie, are you back on with us? We may need to send him another link.
Severe. Position was severe. Next is position 14, severe.
Mr. Ismail Sabir is accused of simple battery from October 29, 2021 in case number 22 CR 000-183A. Mr. Sabir has been advised of his right to remain silent. His attorney is Ms. Lake. And Ms. Lake, is this a matter we have to take up in the breakout room, or are we ready to proceed?
Your Honor, we would like to ask for a breakout room for this hearing, because we have some information in regards to it.
I think that's a good idea.
Mr. Jordan, if you can place Ms. Goodry, Ms. Lake, Ms. Falk, and myself in a breakout room. And in the meantime, if we could reach out to Mr. Edie.
Your Honor, may I also ask that Ms. Mecca Anderson be permitted to go into the breakout room as well?
Anderson, oh, there she is, okay. Yes, Mr. Jordan, please include Ms. Mecca Anderson in the breakout room. And Ms. McLeod, is your client at the in courtroom 2?
I believe he is, Your Honor.
All right, please call them directly at 404-612-2392. And you want
Could
to
you please
speak
repeat the number, Your Honor?
404-612-2392.
Oh, no, I didn't hear you guys.
Your client is Anthony Hunter.
Your Honor,
Hunter.
Miss Lisa Lake spoke to Hunter already. His co-defendant was an upgrade to a felony.
Oh,
So
Ms.
Ms.
McLeod,
Lisa
is
Lake
that your
already-
client?
Yes, Your Honor, it is. It was my client.
Yeah, that's fine, Your Honor. I mean, ultimately, there will be a conflict probably because our office will be representing her, the cross defendant in felony court.
Is Anthony Hunter in the courtroom?
Yes, I'm gonna put him on the phone now.
Thank you.
Come on.
All right, we'll be right with you very shortly as soon as Mr. Jordan places
I don't know.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us in a breakout room. Mr. Jordan, it will be Miss Lake, Miss Goodry, Miss Falk, Miss Anderson, and myself. Mr. Edie, I'm about to go into a breakout room on another case. I will address your case when I come back, okay?
No problem. Thank you.
All right.
Can we go to another case, Judge? While we're-
I think let me check. Mr. Jordan, are you prepared to put us in a breakout room?
Who all do you need a breakout room for, Judge?
Yes, please, for Miss Lake, Miss Goodry, Miss Anderson, Miss Falk, and myself. It's an MH discussion. We are returning to the case of Ms. Lake back with us, yes. We're returning to Ismail Sabir pursuant to a sidebar with all counsel involved. With regards to Mr. Ismail Sabir's charge for simple battery, the bond is going to be set at $3,000. It's going to be a surety bond. No further contact with Zara Primus, and no further contact with the minor ZP to stay away from 1638 Woodland Avenue, Atlanta, Georgia. An MHET will be submitted by defense counsel. Mr. Sabir is also to be compliant with all treatment that he's receiving or should receive, and also to be compliant with all medication that's prescribed to him. He's also not to consume any illegal drugs, no alcoholic beverages, no weapons, and no firearms. His next court date is going to be January 27, 2022. Thank you.
Next is position 8, Hunter.
Oh, I'm sorry, it was Ms. Hamner. Is Ms. Hamner available now?
Oh, yeah.
All right, Ms. Hamner was position
7.
7, yes. All right, Ms. Hamner has had a moment to confer with counsel Khalil Edie, and am I saying that right, Mr. Edie?
Yes, you're correct.
All right, so Mr. Edie, we're going to hear from pretrial, Mr. Tucson. Any priors on Ms. Hamner?
7 total. Last arrest was 2015 for criminal trespass. Before that was DUI conviction from 2014. Suspended license from 2013. Another suspended license 2012. 2010 shoplifting conviction. And a marijuana possession dismissed from 2010.
All right, thank you. Ms. Arnold, what's your recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. We are requesting a $3,000 signature bond due to the fact that Ms. Hamner does have a limited history. We are also requesting, though, no further contact with Jason Robinson, a one-day anger awareness, and that she have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Your Honor, I would just like to state, just to put on the record, that according to the defendant here in this case, Mr. Jason Robinson pushed her off the couch and continued to put his hands on her while holding a metal pipe, which is what prompted the defendant to call officers. She did admit, however, that Mr. Robinson did not use that pipe against her. But when asked about why he had the metal pipe in his hand, Mr. Robinson did advise, though, that he had the pipe because he grabbed it from the defendant to avoid getting hit with it, which we can assume that's probably why both were arrested, because officers could not determine who the primary aggressor was. But for those reasons, Your Honor, just based on the facts, and like I said, based on her history, we are inclined to let her have a $3,000 signature bond with the conditions as stated.
All right, thank you. Mr. Edie, the bond's going to be set at $1,500. It's a signature bond through pretrial services. She is to have no further contact with Jason Robinson. She may return to the Moreland Drive, Atlanta, Georgia, if that's where she lives. If she does not live there, then, don't go back there. No illegal drugs, no alcoholic beverages, no weapons, and no firearms. Her next court date is going to be set by the division judge to whom the case is assigned. So please make sure you file her and your entry of appearance as soon as possible. And Ms. Hamner would have to make sure that we have the correct mailing address on her as well. Anything else, Mr. Eddy?
That'll be it.
All right, thank you, sir.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, I might have missed it, but did you order the one-day anger awareness or just?
Sorry. One-day anger awareness. It's a sort of a mini anger management program that's administered by pretrial services, and there's no additional cost to the defendant.
No problem.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge, you said 1,500 to SOB pretrial, correct?
Correct, 1,500. Next case, please.
Mr. Strum. That is Submission number
15.
yes.
Rodrigo Strum is accused of battery from a November 17, 2021 incident in accusation number 22 CR 0000184Y. Mr. Strum has been advised of his right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Lisa Lake. Any priors on Mr. Strum?
18 total. His last arrest was 3 days ago in Doherty County for simple assault, family violence, disorderly conduct. He got a hit and run, suspended license conviction, 2017. 2014 probation violation, 2013 probation violation. You got an ag assault conviction from 2009, hindering a person from making 911 call, 2 counts. 1 count cruelty in the first conviction. The robbery with that.
I'm sorry, was that a conviction, the 2009 charges?
Yes.
All right, that's
Robbery.
good.
All right.
Appreciate it, thank you. Ms. Goodry?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommending a $10,000 surety bond, a stay away from 6500 Aria, that's ARIA Boulevard, Atlanta. No further contact with Tyler Davis, 1-day anger awareness, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Your Honor, the state's concerns here are the defendant's 1, criminal history. Being that 3 days ago, he just got a simple assault on a Miss Larzetta Anderson in Dougherty County, and a disorderly conduct, an aggravated assault that pretrial stated, aggravated assault again in 2008. He also has a failure to appear from 2017, making him a flight risk. And we're also concerned with the facts of this case, Your Honor. As you are aware, he elbowed a 17-year-old.
Yeah, I've read the warrant. I'm not going to.
Right. Well, that is our concerns. We're concerned that for the safety of the 17-year-old and the 12-year-old, because the 17-year-old was simply trying to protect his brother, Your Honor. And again, given his criminal history, it's extensive. He has extensive batteries since 2009, and he's still committing those crimes. So that's why we're concerned.
Ms. Lake?
Well, I would point out this is all allegedly, and the alleged incident date was 11/17/21. I would also note that Mr. Strum will not qualify for the public defender services after today. He owns several businesses, including a car dealership in Jonesboro on Jonesboro Road. He's the father of 7. I would ask for a signature bond or as low a bond as possible.
Bond is set at $3,500. It is a surety bond. No contact with Tyler Davis. No contact with his 12-year-old brother, and I do not have the name. I'm just going to reference that. To stay 200 yards away from 6500 Aria Boulevard in Atlanta, Georgia. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and no firearms. And we will see him in court on January 27, 2022. If he does make bond, he will be given a new court date. Please make sure that number 1, you do hire an attorney as soon as you are released. And number 2, that you update your address with us as soon as possible so you don't miss out on future court dates. Thank you.
Next, we have position 1, Bailey. Just have a seat.
Mr. John William Bailey Jr. is accused of 2 counts of battery causing substantial physical harm and 1 count of cruelty in the 3rd degree from a February 20, 2020 incident. Mr. Bailey, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney at the present time is going to be Ms. Wanda Gant. Yes, Mr. Tucson?
I ain't said nothing.
Oh, I would like to hear his
Oh.
CIC, please.
26 total. Last arrest was January 2020 for battery. It was in DeKalb County, transferred to the DA's office. January 2020, simple battery family violence, 2 counts out of Henry County, 1 count battery family violence. 2019 battery family violence out of Henry County. I got an ag assault conviction, 2 counts, 1 count possession of a knife or a firearm during a commission from 2008. 2009, they gave him a 15-year sentence for that. He went to felony earlier and got no bond.
Thank you. Ms. Arnold, I've read the warrants. What would you like to recommend?
Yes, Your Honor. So the defendant currently has a $15,000 surety bond in place with $5,000 for count 1 for the battery substantial physical harm, $5,000 for count 2 for another battery substantial physical harm, and $5,000 for count 3 for cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Your Honor, we are requesting that the bond would remain the same. And we are also asking that there be no further contact with Miss Yannicka Clay. Yannicka spelled Y-A-N-I-K-A, Clay, or with Casey, who's a minor, so we are just going to put his initials here. We're also asking that there be a stay away from the incident location, as well as, there be a stay away from the incident location, which was the 1331 Easton Street, as well as Miss Clay's apartment, which is located at 2129 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, apartment A4. Your Honor, we are very concerned that the defendant will reoffend based on the facts of this case. For one, where Miss Clay stated that she had to leave her apartment located at that MLK address because the defendant hit her in front of her children there. So she left there and went to her grandmother's house, which is located at the Easton Street address. And that next morning, her grandmother yelled something she couldn't hear. When she came out of the bathroom, Your Honor, the defendant was already there and punched her in the face and dragged her out of the bathroom, where her son, Casey, saw and tried to intervene, but he was also hit in that altercation, Your Honor. So for one, we are concerned just based on the fact that she had to leave at that time because he had hit her previously the night before this incident occurred. In addition, we believe the defendant will reoffend based off of his history. Pre-trial went through several convictions and arrests already, but I'll just point out a few as he does have a very extensive history.
I understand.
Okay.
I really do. So
Okay.
we don't need to belabor that.
Okay, so I'll leave that be. Your Honor does know what the convictions and arrests are. And lastly, Your Honor, we are concerned because he does have an open case, case number 22 CP 205783 for aggravated assault, battery, family violence, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree as well, for which there has not been a bond set. He also has 2 cases for which a bond was not set for the 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, possession of a firearm during commission of a felony, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, Your Honor. So we are very concerned, as this happened this year in January, the 7th of this month of this year, where he assaulted another girlfriend. The victim in this case is his current girlfriend and mother of his child. So the defendant has an extensive history and he has continued to batter women. So we are very concerned. And so for these reasons, we are asking that the bond remain the same.
All right, thank you. Ms. Lay, excuse me, Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. John Bailey is 47 years old. He is a lifelong Atlanta resident. He is the proud father of 7 children. The oldest is 28 and the youngest is a 10-month-old. He completed the 10th grade and he has been employed at Oscar Car Wash for the past 12 years. Your Honor, I am requesting a low bond for Mr. Bailey if he's ineligible for a signature bond. He, of course, I acknowledge my client's history, but I would just bring to the court's attention that these are allegations and he is presumed innocent. The last aggravated assault conviction was in 2009, and that is well over 10 years ago. We are unopposed to the stay away and the no further contact orders, as my client vehemently denies these allegations. He states that he does not know these people. He was not on the scene of this incident at 1331 Easton Street in Atlanta. Finally, I am requesting again a signature bond. If Your Honor determines that he is ineligible, then a bond of no more than $3,000, and that would be $1,000 for each charge. $1,000 for battery, substantial physical harm, again for the second count, and the third, cruelty to children, $1,000. Thank you.
All right, thank you. With regards to each count, the bond is going to be set at $3,500. Total bond is going to be $10,500. It's a surety bond. Next court date is January 27, 2022 at 9 a.m. No contact with, I got Yankia Clay, and the second person will be identified as initials KC, to stay away from 1331 Easton Street and to stay away from 2129 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, the entire complex, both locations in Atlanta, Georgia. No illegal drugs, alcohol, no weapons, and no firearms. Anything else?
Nothing further, Your
Nothing from
Honor.
the state, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next is gonna be position number 8, Mr. Hunter.
Anthony Irvin Hunter is accused of simple battery domestic violence from a January 12, 2022 incident. In case number 22 CR 0000180Y. Mr. Hunter, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Maureen McLeod. Any
Yes,
priors, Mr. Tucson?
Third arrest. Last was 2014, possession of marijuana out of Alabama. Possession of drug paraphernalia. 2012, failure to appear, Alabama. That's it.
Thank you. Ms. Goodry?
Yes, Your Honor, the state's recommending a $3,000 signature bond, no further contact with Karen Samuels, 1-day anger awareness, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. This is largely due to, of course, the defendant having a lack of criminal history. And Ms. Samuels' charges was upgraded this morning to an aggravated assault. She used a knife to cut the defendant, and she also attempted to tase him. And that docket number is 22-CP-205774. And that's the reason for the state's recommendation.
All right, thank you. Ms. McLeod, if you don't mind, I'm going to set the bond at $2,000. It's going to be a signature bond for pretrial services. No further
Thank you, Your
contact.
Honor.
No further contact with Karen Samuels, no illegal drugs, no weapons, and no firearms. And he can have third-party transfer of the child with whom he shares with Ms. Samuels.
Right, there's a 1-year-old, Your Honor. Yes, I wanted to say that.
And I don't know who lives at 396 Piedmont, but I'm assuming he does.
They both live there, Your Honor. They have
All
been
right.
living together for a while.
But he
They've
can-
been in a 5-year relationship.
Okay. Well, he can return to 396 Piedmont Avenue if that's where he lives. I'm not sure what the conditions are going to be with regards to Karen Samuel. So we'll just take it up at the present time as it is. Next court date will be established by the division judge. Mr. Hunter, once you're released on bond, you are to make sure you report to pretrial once a month and that you comply with the conditions of your bond. Please do not get arrested again, otherwise you lose your signature bond. Make sure your address is current with us at all times. Yes, Ms. Goodry?
Are you also ordering the 1-day anger awareness?
Considering the nature of this altercation, no.
Okay.
All right, that concludes this matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, this concludes my business before the court. May I be excused?
Yes, Ms. McLeod, you have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, you too.
Next is position 12, Monet.
Mr. Frankie Lamar Monet is accused of battery from June 6, 2021, in case 22 CR 0000182Y. Mr. Monet has been advised of his right to remain silent. His attorney is Ms. Lake. Mr. Tucson, any prize?
This is third. Last arrest was 2020, probation violation. Possession of marijuana was the underlying charge. 2019 marijuana, drive without valid license, no law.
Okay. And Ms. Goodwin?
Yes, Your Honor. He currently has a $1,000 surety bond. We're recommending a $2,000 surety bond. No further contact with Jody Johnson. Jody is Jody, Johnson common spelling. 1 day anger awareness and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. The reason for our recommendation is that the facts where he punched someone in the face at a shopping center and caused swelling to his cheek, which is an extensive battery, Your Honor. So we're concerned for the safety of the community and the safety of the victim. That's why we recommend such a bond.
Jody, male or female? Do you know?
It didn't state whether or not it was a male or female, Your Honor.
Okay. It's a hate bill warrant, right? From June 6th incident?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Ms. Lake?
Your Honor, this is Mr. Monet's only his third arrest. He does have a full-time job at the Chevron and lives with his step-grandmother. There have been no problems since the 6th of June. He understands he needs to stay away from Jody Johnson. They do not live together, so we would ask for a signature bond on this case.
It'll be a $1,500 signature bond through pretrial services. He needs to report to pretrial once a month. I'm not ordering an anger awareness because this is not a DV matter, but no illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and no firearms. No contact with Jody Johnson. I don't know whether you know each other, but if you do, well, sorry, no more communication in person or indirectly through a phone, computer, third party, or social media. And you are to stay away from the entire shopping complex at 1155 Virginia Avenue in Hapeville, Georgia. Understood, Mr. Monet? Yes?
Yes.
Make sure your address is current with us at all times. You will receive notice of when to appear in court. If you don't appear in court, a bench warrant will issue for your arrest and you lose your signature bond.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next is position 3, Mr. Cleary.
Mr. Daniel Michael Cleary is accused of hit and run, driving, hit and run, failure of the driver to stop at or return to the scene of an accident, and DUI. Excuse me. Is he also charged with driving, following too closely?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And then the fourth charge will be DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe. Let me just, and Mr. Cleary, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney who's going to represent you at the present time is going to be Miss Wanda Gant. Mr. Cleary, I would just like some acknowledgement from you that you understand what's going on at the present time.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So you are, let me correct the record. You have 3 charges against you. Hit and run, failure of the driver to return to the scene of the accident, following too closely, and DUI. Those are the 3 charges brought against you. Okay. You've been advised of your right to remain silent, so please let your attorney, Ms. Gant, speak for you. Mr. Tucson, any priors, please?
Total. He's on probation. Accrued 10 the first. 2013, they gave him a 20-year sentence, 8 to serve, 12 probated. Last arrest was in October for DUI in Gwinnett. I got DUI convictions from 95, 97, 2008. As far as DUI arrests last year and 2013, I don't see a disposition for those. I'm sure the October one is still open though, out of Gwinnett. I'm assuming.
All right. Ms. Arnold?
Yes, Your Honor. So the state is requesting a $1,000 surety bond for count 1 for the driving hit and run, a $500 surety bond for count 2 for driving following too closely, and a $5,000 surety bond for count 3 for DUI alcohol. We are also requesting, I'm sorry, Your Honor, for a total of $6,500 surety bond. We are also requesting that there be no driving and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Your Honor, we are requesting this bond because we do believe that the defendant will reoffend based on his history. Pretrial already went over all of the arrests that he did have, and he does have 3 DUI alcohol convictions from 1995, 1997, and 2008. Your Honor, here in this case, when officers approached the defendant after he left the scene, causing a 3-car accident, Your Honor, when the officers approached the defendant, he was not able to clarify where he was or what bridge he was standing on. And in addition, when officers asked to do a standardized test, the defendant declined. However, he was placed in handcuffs, and while searching him, the officer smelled a strong odor of alcohol on his breath. He also observed a piece of broken glass inside the defendant's pocket that he believed to come from the damage to the vehicles, of which the defendant denied having been in any type of accident, Your Honor. And while the defendant was walking and being escorted with the officer, he was unsteady on his feet, which caused the arresting officer to have to hold him upright. So for these reasons, Your Honor, we are requesting that $6,500 surety bond because we do believe he will reoffend. And so that is the reason for our recommendation, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Gant?
All right, thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Daniel Cleary is 55 years old. He has been in the Atlanta area since 1995. He has a Bachelor of Science degree in computer science. He has 2 children, 2 sons, ages 17 and 18. He's now divorced. He is currently employed at Translutions. However, he has been in that position for a little over a month. Therefore, he is unable to pay a high bond. In fact, he had been unemployed for 8 years prior to obtaining the position at Trans Solutions. I am requesting a signature bond. If Your Honor determines that he is ineligible, then a low bond of no more than $1,000 total, and that would be $250 for the driving hit and run, $250 for the driving following too closely, and $500 for the DUI less safe. While I acknowledge my client's history, I would point out that the convictions are far too remote to consider, and while he has an open case, he is presumed innocent in the case out of Gwinnett along with this case, and he disputes the allegations. He states that he had consumed mouthwash prior to being stopped, and lastly, he states that the plastic that was on him was a piece of his eyeglasses that became broken. And for these reasons, Your Honor, I am requesting this signature, or in the alternative, the surety bond. And I am opposed to any restrictions on driving unless there's, I would like for him to be able to drive unless the DOS says otherwise, and we do not believe that he will reoffend. He understands the seriousness of the allegations. Thank you.
All right. On the hit and run, it's going to be 2,500 signature bond through pretrial. On the following too closely, it's going to be a 2,500 signature bond through pretrial. On the DUI under the influence of alcohol less safe, that's going to be a $5,000 surety bond. The total bond is set at a $10,000 split bond. In reporting to pretrial, Mr. Cleary is not to consume any illegal drugs and no alcoholic beverages, and he will be subject to random screens by pretrial services. He is to once he makes bond, he is to complete an alcohol and drug evaluation and submit himself to any treatment within 60 days of being released. The report of that alcohol and drug evaluation must be provided to pretrial services no later than 60 days from today. He is not permitted to drive at all unless he installs a interlock device on his vehicle. And also this privilege to drive will be subject to the decision by any ALS hearing that he requests from the Department of Driver Services. So if the Department of Driver Services says he cannot drive, well, he cannot drive. But if the Department of Driver Services says he can drive, then he needs to install an IED on his vehicle so that he can operate the vehicle. This is 1, 2, 3, at least 3 prior convictions for DUI and 2 open cases for DUI. That's 5 in less than 20 years. So huge concern right now. If he does not make bond, we will see him on January 27, 2022 at 9 a.m. Thank you.
Per judge, April.
Yeah, on the split part.
I'll have to explain it. Next case is position 4, Mr. Duplessis.
Gerald Duplessis is accused of criminal trespass at the Kroger on Morosco Way yesterday. Mr. Duplessis' accusation number is 22 CR 000179G. Mr. Duplessis, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney will be Ms. Wanda Gant. Any recent convictions for trespass or anything in the last 3 years?
Yes. 2018 criminal attempt to commit a felony, simple battery, 2 counts. Simple battery against police or law enforcement, that was conviction. Had a 2018 robbery, I'm not sure of the disposition. 2018 trespass conviction out of Marietta. 2018 theft by taking out of Marietta.
Oh, that's good. Thank you. And does he still have an open case from May 21st, 2021? I'm not going to mention the charge.
Oh, he's on probation for that and for shoplifting.
Ms. Anderson, what's your recommendation, please?
Good afternoon, Judge. The state is requesting a $500 surety bond with the condition that the defendant stay away from the Kroger located at 2454 Morosco Way, Northeast. And of course, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Pre-trial went over an accurate list of the defendant's history. And because of this, basically 43 arrests and 7 convictions since 1994, including this case, the state is making these bond requests. And Your Honor, as you heard, the arrests are a mix of criminal trespass, theft by taking, shoplifting, battery, controlled substance, drug possession, and others.
Thank you.
So for those reasons, we're asking for the $500 surety bond, Your Honor, and the rest of the conditions.
Ms. Gant, any objection to a 500 surety bond?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Gerald Duplessis, I will be requesting a signature bond through the jail, Your Honor. Mr. Duplessis is unemployed and has been so for the past 3 years. In fact, he is disabled. He is residentially challenged. While I acknowledge Mr. Duplessis's history, I would point out that this is an allegation, and of course, he is presumed innocent. It is a non-violent offense. He denies the allegation. He denies ever being, well, let me back up. He believes that he was rightfully in the area. He states that where this event occurred was far away from where he had previously received a warning. He was basically trying to cross the parking lot. He, at this time, has a broken arm. He does not have any transportation whatsoever. He was trying to get to a doctor's appointment, doesn't have any transportation, has a broken arm. He missed that appointment. He's unable to make any bond. Therefore, I'm requesting a signature bond on his behalf. He is 56 years old. He has been in the Atlanta area for about 8 years. He doesn't have much family here. I am connecting him to a social worker to assist with his living situation. He is the proud father of 2 children, ages 31 and 26. He also has 2 grandchildren. He completed the 8th grade and he went on to learn how to be a landscaper. However, when he was working, it was basically day-to-day type work. And again, he has been disabled for the past 3 years. And for these reasons, I'm requesting the signature bond through the jail. Thank you.
Your Honor, I have a couple more facts that may shed a little bit of light into why the state is asking for this as it pertains to this incident. The defendant has a history of loitering and shoplifting and panhandling at this particular Kroger location. And he was actually given a verbal warning on Tuesday, just this Tuesday, the 11th, and asked to not come back again. And then he, of course, came back the next day and was arrested.
Okay.
And Your Honor,
Other side.
Mr. Duplessis, I would advise you to remain silent, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything that you say can and will be used against you. Your Honor, as the court is aware, there have been no allegations pertaining to this incident regarding any loitering or prowling or any shoplifting. So I would ask that you not consider that in your ruling, Your Honor.
But can we stipulate that he knows he's been given a criminal trespass warning from that location?
No, Your Honor, because he believes that the warning that he was given was far away from where he actually was.
Your Honor,
No, can we hang on, please. Can we stipulate that he's got a criminal trespass warning from 2452 Morosco Way, the Kroger supermarket?
Well, that is not his understanding, Your Honor.
What's his understanding?
His understanding is that he had a right to be in that area because he stated that when he received that original warning, it was by some steps. There are no steps in that parking lot that he could see. He was far away from where he initially received that warning.
I don't understand what that means. Was he given a warning to stay away from Kroger, or was he given a warning for some other location?
He states that it was a warning to stay away from some steps.
Your Honor, the warning was given by the Kroger security on Kroger property in the presence of MARTA police and APD.
$500 surety bond, and we will see him on the 27th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Stay away from Kroger on Morosco Way, 200 yards away, which includes the parking lot, the sidewalks, and the road adjacent to the Kroger supermarket. Excellent.
And the no drugs and alcohol as well, Your Honor?
Sure, why not? No illegal drugs, no weapons.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. We have position number 6, Mr. Garcia. Mr. Garcia.
Mr. Navarrete, Edgar Garcia Navarrete is accused of 2 counts of obstruction and 1 count of misdemeanor possession of marijuana, less than 1 ounce. Mr. Garcia, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and your attorney will be Ms. Wanda Gann. Mr. Tucson, any priors, please?
Oh, the recommendations SOB jail.
All right. Ms. Arnold.
17, just so you know. I ain't know.
All right. And do we have any family members in the community for Mr. Garcia Navarrete?
Yes,
Gant?
Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. His mother, Robalena Navarrete, and I spoke with her this morning, and she is willing to do what she needs to do.
Okay, and will pretrial, is there a reason why it's through the jail?
Because it's not the charges that we listed. It's not like violence or anything.
All right. Ms. Arnold, any particular reason you're seeking a surety bond, or is it okay for a signature bond with a cosigner?
Yes, Your Honor, we are seeking the surety bond. Just although we do not see any actual convictions, he does have these arrests for armed robbery from May of this year out of DeKalb County, and then December 2016 of, I'm sorry, May of 2021. Let me correct myself. And then a December 16th from 2021, purchase, possession, manufacture, distribution, or sale of marijuana out of Brookhaven.
Was that a juvie arrest?
Not the December 16th one. It's showing as an adult. The one from May 2021 does say juvenile.
Okay.
And then a December 16th, 2021 armed robbery out of DeKalb as well. And I did not see dispositions for those, but they were from DeKalb. In addition, Your Honor, for the simple fact that the officers stated that the defendant was in a stolen vehicle, and that's where they found the marijuana that was located in a open area of the vehicle, and that the defendant ran from both Detective Henderson and Detective Dwyer when they tried to attempt to effect an arrest on him. So for these reasons, we are requesting the $4,500 surety, and that there be no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Okay, on each obstruction charge is going to be 1,000. The possession is going to be 500. So 2,500 signature bond through pre-trial. No drugs, alcohol, and no weapons, no firearms. And I need mom to come down and co-sign his bond. He is subject to a curfew from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Yes, Mr. Navarrete, did you want to ask something about your bond?
I'm confused on the armed robbery because
Mr.
That's not the
Garcia.
charge in front of me. Mr. Garcia Navarrete, please do not say anything about your prior history or anything to that effect. But right now, your mom needs to come and sign you out on your bond. If you get arrested again for anything else, this signature bond will disappear and convert to a cash bond or a surety bond. You are subject to a curfew. That means you have to be home by 6 p.m. and you cannot leave until 6 a.m. And once your mom, and you have to report to pretrial once a month. If you get arrested again, if you fail to show up in court, or if you don't report to pretrial, or if you violate curfew, you will be back in jail. What's the question?
when is pre-trial or when do I have my next
You will be informed. You'll attend an orientation and you will be informed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, Your Honor, that's it.
All right, Deputy Milton, you all have a good one. Thank you.
What's that bond amount?
2,500 signature bond through pretrial. Is that per judge too?
Oh, yeah. What's the cosign information?
Ms. Gant, would you be able to put that in the chat to Mr. Tucson at pretrial?
Yes, I am completing it now. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, can we find out the status of position 2, Michael Shavaria?
Yeah, I'm about to. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Bailey is a 10,500 surety bond. Reset date is January 27, 2022. Michael Shavaria, Deputy Milton, any idea? I don't know whether he made bond or he was released.
Checking, Your Honor.
Okay.
Oh, he's in quarantine?
Your Honor, I did interview him today, so I'm ready to proceed with this hearing.
Exactly. And also Brian James. I believe Ms. Gant interviewed both of them, correct, Ms. Gant?
I did, thank you.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, are we going to get them in the courtroom?
No, they're in quarantine, and I believe they waived their appearance, or
Okay. Mr. Gant, did you waive Mr. Shavaria's presence?
Your Honor, I will do so. ran into some issues at the last minute that precluded my doing that. I will do that as soon as possible, Your Honor.
So you want me to address those cases tomorrow if you don't have the consent yet?
Well, they agreed to proceed with the hearings, but because of a time constraint, I was dealing with an issue with the calendar that I could not enter the referrals in a timely manner, the waivers in a timely manner. I can do that now. I'm ready to proceed.
Your
No,
Honor,
I'm perfectly fine with that. My only issue is, Ms. Gant, did the client express to you that they are waiving their initial, their presence at this proceeding so that I can address it
Yes, Your
without
Honor.
them being here?
Yes, Your Honor, and I apologize if I did not respond to your satisfaction.
No, that's fine. Sometimes there are some cross wires. Ms. Paul, what did you want to include?
the state would just say that we normally ask that that be put in writing and filed before the hearing. And I understand there were some difficulties on Ms. Gant's part, but it does kind of give the state some pause about addressing these hearings if it hasn't been filed.
Okay, well, we'll address position number 2, and then we'll get to that. Let's just put that on deck right now. Position number 3, Cleary, was a $10,000 split bond, 5,000 surety, and 5,000 signature bond through pretrial with conditions. Reset date is January 27. Position 4 is a 500 surety bond, stay away from Kroger's, and reset date is January 27. Position 5, Miguel Fernandez. Ms. Gant, is that another waiver?
Yeah, no, it's not a waiver. Number 5 is, I believe is.
I understand.
Grady loan out,
Right.
Grady loan out.
Okay, loan out Grady. So this one is going to be reset to January 14th.
Yes,
See
Your Honor.
calendar.
In Your Honor, position 10, Erica Jones is in the same position. From my understanding, both have been medical resets from Grady for several days.
Oh, yeah, okay. Garcia Navarrete is a 2,500 signature bond through pretrial with a cosigner. Hamner is a 1,500 signature bond through pretrial. 8, Hunter is a 2,000 signature bond through pretrial. 9, Brian James, that's the one that you said is also a waiver?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so position 2 and 9. Position 10, Erica Jones is, what did
Grady.
you say?
Grady.
Grady. Did you say Grady?
Yes, Grady.
Yes, Your Honor.
Reset to January 14, see calendar. Position 11 is a 2,500 signature bond through pretrial. Position 12 is a 1,500 signature bond through pretrial. 13 is a $750 surety bond. Reset date is January 27th. Sabir is a 3,000 surety bond. Reset date January 27th. Position 15, Strum, is a 3,500 surety bond. Reset date is January 27th. All right. Ms. Gant, how prepared are you with the written waivers right now?
I can enter if we are in recess.
All right, we'll take a 5-minute recess for Ms. Gant to submit the written waivers. Please email them to ms.april.champion, and that way we can have them e-filed. Courtroom 2, we're going to handle the last 2 cases without their appearance. So I think we've concluded with Courtroom 2. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Have a
Thank you,
wonderful
Your
evening.
Honor.
All right, thank you, Ms. Gant. Go ahead and send them to Ms. Champion. I'll wait, okay?
You waiving the utility bill for the cosigner?
Yeah, they'll be fine. Thank you. You're sending me the docs, Mr. Dusan?
I'll be in there.
All right. I'll be in recess until Ms. Gant reappears. Thank you. Okay. Ms. Gant, we ready?
I am, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Arnold is here too. Okay, we're going to start with 22 CR 0000189D, State versus Michael Shavaria, accused of theft by taking from a May 19, 2021 incident with regards to some kind of check being deposited. So, and I understand that Ms. Gant is waiving her client's appearance. Is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Tucson, any priors on Michael Shavaria?
12 total. Last arrest was December 2020, probation violation out of Gwinnett. He's on probation for theft by receiving, shoplifting, sale of marijuana. Also on probation in Florida for burglary.
Do you know when was the conviction in Florida?
Yeah, I do. Hold on. 2018. They gave him 4 years probation.
Oh, 4 years probation. Oh, he would have been done this year. Okay. Ms. Arnold?
Yes, Your Honor. We are requesting a $3,000 surety bond for the theft by taking, that there be no further contact with Donald Copeland, and that the defendant have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Your Honor, this is a situation where the defendant took a check in the amount of $781.67 that was mailed to the victim, Mr. Copeland, from Willow Trail Apartments on May 11th. The check was deposited on May 19th at a Navy Federal Credit Union and endorsed by the defendant. When officers were called about the incident, they were able to review the credit union bank statement for the defendant and found that he had deposited a check in that amount on May 19th with the description that it came from a mobile deposit. There were 2 ATM withdrawals on May 19th in the amount of $250 and $700. Officers were able to view the still images from the ATM where that money was withdrawn. And there was a caption on that video that stated that the person at that ATM was Michael Shavaria, which is the defendant in this case. Officers also noted a third transaction, which was a Zelle payment to a Michael Cha, spelled C-H-A, in the amount of $750, also on May 19th, leaving the defendant with the balance of $457.14. This was a very good indication to officers that the defendant did have knowledge that those fraudulent money transaction funds were in his account and have been illegally placed in his account, Your Honor. We believe that the defendant will reoffend based upon his history as well. With the 2013 conviction for the theft by receiving stolen property, I'm sorry, Your Honor. He had a 2014 theft by shoplifting, which was under first offender, and then a 2019 theft by receiving, which was also a conviction. And we are also concerned that the defendant may be a flight risk, as he does have an FTA conviction from 2019 as well. So for these reasons, Your Honor, we are requesting that the bond be set at the $3,000 surety with the conditions as stated.
Ms. Gant?
All right, thank you, Your Honor. Today I will be requesting a signature bond. If Your Honor determines that he is eligible, then a bond of no more than $500. Mr. Shavaria denies the allegations. He is 27 years old. He is a lifelong resident of Atlanta. He has family here, therefore he has community ties. He is the proud father and primary caretaker of 4 children. He has a 9-year-old son and 3 daughters, ages 17, 10, and 13. He obtained his GED and he is now currently employed at Jay's Construction. He informed me that he has tested positive for COVID and he's quite concerned about the conditions in the jail at this time. He also needs to return to resume care of his children. As I stated, he is the primary caretaker for those minor children. We are unopposed to the no further contact order. Again, he denies the allegations. Thank you.
All right. So from what I gather, somehow or another, Mr. Copeland had a missing check, and then later on it shows up allegedly in Mr. Shavaria's account, and allegedly there's video footage of someone who apparently is Mr. Shavaria withdrawing sums, and then somehow this missing check allegedly ended up in Mr. Shavaria's possession, according to the warrant.
According to the warrant, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Bond is set at $5,000, signature bond through pretrial. You can make it per judge. And
It is.
if he gets arrested again for anything else, that bond will convert to a surety bond or a cash bond. No further contact with Donald Copeland I guess that's it. If he gets arrested again, well, it's a $5,000 sticker price.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next case we're addressing is Ms. Gant's client, which is Mr. Brian James, position 9, 22 CR 0000165Y, accused of simple battery from January 7, 2022.
Your Honor, we may need a breakout room for that one.
You do?
Before you do that, where do I get the Grady eval form and to whom do I send it once I get it?
If Mr. Derek Howard always has copies of it.
Oh, he doesn't seem to be here, so.
Okay. If you want to reach out to Miss Bianca Thomas as well, or Miss Wanda Gant, do you have forms for the MHET?
I can forward them to her.
Thank you.
All right.
And to whom do I send them once I?
Oh, you send them to April Champion.
Okay.
April.champion@fultoncountyga.gov.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Well, if you want to go in a breakout room, that's fine. That's our last case on the calendar. We can stop the live stream and the recording. Mr. Jordan? Mr. Jordan at his desk.
Sorry, were you calling me?
Yes, I was going to say